Oh, I think it's not echoing. It's, or maybe it is. Oh. Does this work?
Hello.
Yes. Okay,
Okay.
perfect.
Okay, you can hear us. You're handling the Teams now?
Yep, I'm just sharing screen and then we are good. We're recording already.
Sorry, guys. I'm trying to find the agenda, have that pulled up.
I have it right here if you want to just reference.
Yep.
Oh, well, that is insanely small, so. Does that help?
Let's see if I can pull it up. I'm sorry, guys. Give me 1 second.
Logan, does that help?
Yeah, we can roll with that. Let's kick this off. Okay, I'll bring us to order. Let's do a quick roll call. We'll start with the room. We'll go clockwise and then we'll toss it to the teams. Logan Dunning, present.
Mike Chisholm, Vice Chair.
Mel England, staff liaison.
Rick Emmelheinz, new member.
Andrew Primo, just a member of the public.
Matthew Schultz, alternate.
Online.
Jessica Hall, member.
Marissa Panning, member, present.
Stephen Strawbridge, member, present.
Cool. Thanks for joining us online, guys. We've got a pretty good agenda, so I'm excited about tonight. I'm excited about what we're doing and where we're headed. So I just wanted to welcome the new members in the room. We'll get to their formal introductions here in a second. And Matthew, right?
Yeah.
And
Andrew and Matthew. Okay, I'll get that down. Thanks for joining us tonight. Excited to have you here. Thanks for being in person too. With that, I'd like to move to approve the June minutes. If there's no conversation, then I would entertain a motion to approve the June 14 minutes.
So move.
Second? Online? I don't know who can do that.
Second.
Just you.
Jessica seconded. Okay. Minutes approved for June. That was great. We got to see some of the city's infrastructure. Really cool tour. We'll do more of that in the future, I think. Let's move on to item number 3, guys. We're just being efficient tonight. Upcoming tasks and events. There's a lot underneath this, a lot I'm excited to kind of dive into. But we have to do some swearing in. I have a couple new members with us tonight. That's Rick and Matthew. And I think Kara's returning. Is Kara on this evening, Mel?
Oh, I see.
Waiting at the door. All right,
Lock her up.
pause. Y'all online, I guess there's a new security system in the building. So there's no just holding the door open anymore. Hi, Kara.
Perfect timing, Kara.
Kara, present.
Present.
Present. Kara's a returning member. Kara, we have Rick and Matthew here, new members with us, and then Andrew, member of the public. I'm excited to hear from them this evening a little bit. So, Mel, how do you want to do the swearing in stuff?
I got it. So you have your 2 sheets. I have this for you. So we just got to do a little kumbaya saying together, and then you're sworn in. I'm gonna keep this up now. Just gonna read off of it. Okay. So you all can copy after me. The only difference, Matthew, is yours says alternate. And then sign your name at the bottom of both. And then I'll keep it for my records. If you want to keep one, by all means, but if not, I'll take both of them. Is everyone ready? Are you ready? Okay. So you say my name.
I, Rick Emmelheinz.
I, Cara Frangipani,
I, Matthew Schultz.
do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States.
are we going all together?
Uh-huh. Sorry.
Do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
The Constitution of the State of Colorado
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Englewood.
the Charter and ordinances of the City of Englewood,
And that I will, to my best of my ability, faithfully perform the duties of office
And that
I will, to the best of my abilities, faithfully perform the duties of office.
And then Matthew, this
As
is
an
where it's gonna be different. So you two are gonna say, as a member of the Sustainability Committee during my continuance there within.
As a member of the Sustainability Committee during my continuance therein.
And then Matthew, yours is just an alternate member.
As an alternate member of the Sustainability Committee during my continuance therein.
Perfect.
Hey.
You all are sworn in.
Welcome. Really excited to have you guys here tonight. Thanks, Mel. So, guys, time flies in these meetings, okay? And I'm trying to run a tight ship and be efficient, but with that, I don't know if Carrie got one around where my nameplate went, but just so we have sort of some familiarity, did nameplates tonight. I think we'll continue to do that in the future, just so we know. For those online too, who might not be able to hear as well, I want to do quick, like 10 seconds each. Name, cross streets, and what's the top area of interest of sustainability to you? Just real quick, popcorn, and I'll start. Just so we get a feel for who's in the room. Logan Dunning, my cross streets are Quincy and Pearl and Englewood. And I would say water conservation and newfound interest, mobility.
Michael Chisholm, I agree with those priorities, but I have a bone to chew, and that is asphalt and empty lots and just seas of heat sinks. So probably that's where I get most animated, annoying or entertaining when we start talking about parking lots that were designed 30 years ago.
Cross streets.
Yeah. Oh, Cherokee.
Okay. Here.
I'm Cara Frangipani. I live at Pearl and Amherst, and I, like you, Logan, I mean, water immediately, and then also like gardening and native planting and that kind of stuff.
Love it.
Matthew Schultz, cross streets, urbanic tufts, and also pollinators and community garden spaces.
Wonderful.
Rick Emmelheinz, I'm trying to figure out my cross street. I'm on Lipan Drive, which is just north of the park.
Yep.
And I think mine is definitely water, but I think sustainability to me means maximizing use of anything. Less trash.
I love it.
Andrew Primo, I'm at Hammond and Lafayette, roughly.
Yep.
And I sound like a broken record, but water conservation, and urban biodiversity, so native plants and pollinators.
Absolutely. Let's go to Jessica.
Hi, everyone. Jessica. Cross streets are Grant and Dartmouth. And yep, same, pretty consistent with the water conservation. It's very important to me, and just landscaping and how we bring those two together to save water and resources.
Absolutely. Marissa?
Hi, y'all. Marissa Panning. My cross streets are Fox and Oxford, and I'm really passionate about environmental intersectionality, so just protecting people and the planet. So, yeah.
Steven, what you got?
Steven Strawbridge. I am down near Downing and Yale, and clean air and clean water matter to me.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks for,
As a Cherokee and Floyd.
Floyd, thank you for the cross street. Yeah, that's great. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for engaging me on that a little bit. We've come a long way. Last year, we were Keep Englewood Beautiful. We spent the back half of the year sort of transitioning out of that relationship with Keep America Beautiful. The city adopted the new sustainability plan, And that's where we come in. We play an advisory role to city council and city staff on all things sustainability for the city. It's an exciting time to be on this commission. We've got new members here, excited about that. We've had an ongoing speaker series. If you listen back to any of the minutes, we've had a couple of great speakers on water and urban forestry, et cetera, et cetera. We've toured a pollinator garden earlier this year, late last year. We've revised the bylaws. We've advised the city on the sustainability plan and provided feedback. We've gotten a lot done in 6 months, 7 months now. But I think we're at a pivotal point here. So over the next few months, I think we can really find some opportunities to get our hands dirty and get involved. And with that, I'm quite excited. So just real quick, I think we're moving on to 3B here, which we toured the Charles Allen Water Treatment Facility last month. Super exciting. The premise of that was we wanted to get out and see some of the city's infrastructure. So we had our choice between what the Charles Allen or South Platte Renew. Is that the guess?
South Platte Renew is the wastewater treatment plant.
That's right. Thank you, Mel. That could be in the near future. They're doing some great work over there. But I just want to take a few minutes. If anybody had any takeaways from that tour, I thought it was great. The staff was wonderful and accommodating, and I'm glad that we opened the lines of communication there for potential collaboration in the future on, not sure yet, but we'll find out. I thought it was fascinating that, as I asked about water auditing and what is the treatment plant doing to find and identify and quantify water loss. And they're employing an American Water Works Association water audit program called M36. And that's really interesting. And I'd be eager to hear the findings of that in a few years. But just wanted to open up for a few minutes to debrief that tour. If anybody had any takeaways, what you thought was cool, what needs improvement, any thoughts?
I wish I could have been to that one.
Go to the, yes, Mike.
It's an amazing strategic opportunity for the city of Englewood to have the amount of water rights that they have.
Oh, yeah.
It is amazing. As we go into the future, I think Englewood will emerge again and again as a pivotal municipality because we got lots of water. I didn't know how much we have, but we got lots of water. So thank you, founding fathers.
Yes, yeah, that was really neat. It's almost as if, how do I put it? We're almost on our own, like we have our own water supply, if you will, because our water rights here in Englewood are so senior. And if you ever want to talk water rights, let's go grab coffee or something. It's a whole conversation. But we're first in line. So that's pretty neat, and we own that water. And so that was a great takeaway, Mike. Thanks for bringing that up. Mel, anybody online? Any other thoughts there? Going once, going twice. Great. We'll do. I just wanted to get the group out. I think that was a great field trip. I look forward to doing more in the future. Mel, Mike is yours.
Woo! Okay, so I bumped up the updates just because there's a lot of them, and I think you'll see why in a little bit. So kind of the overall high level one. So for the EV action plan, which we're applying to this Friday, finally, we have the Sustainability Commission rep of Christine Brinker. Tim Dodd said we don't have to necessarily vote on it, but we just have to bring it up in the meeting, see if there's any objections, any questions, any comments with having Christine Brinker be the sustainability representative for the EV action plan. And to back up for our new members and for our public to give a little bit of background on that. So Excel has a program called Partners in Energy, and it's a really awesome program. It's completely free. The city went through it back in 2017 to do our energy action plan. And essentially Excel will just give you free help with creating and implementing a plan dealing with energy, any one that you kind of want to do. So we were looking into kind of what area we wanted to go with, and with EVs really taking flight and with a lot of federal funding coming around EV implementation, we thought doing the city's first ever EV action plan would just be a great way to go into 2023. So we were looking for representation from the Sustainability Commission if they wanted to provide a member. And essentially what this will be is that this representative will come to all the strategy workshops and meetings and really be able to give kind of that community voice to however this plan is created. So any objections or comments to Christine being, yes, Mike?
I would hope that we have more than a vanilla flavored opinion on things like this. We don't have official authority, but I hope, and people could disagree with me, but I have a sneaky suspicion most of the people on the Sustainability Commission think that's a pretty cool idea. I would hope, if that's true, I'm make sure that's true. If that is true, I think that message should go through to City Council, which is, we're not lukewarm on this. We're kind of excited about it. So I hope that message goes through to City Council, just for the record. But if anybody disagrees with me, I respect difference of opinion.
I'm excited about it too. Now it's in the record. Any ideas of how you might want to portray that, or did you just want to put it into the minutes this tonight, Mike, or do you want to write a formal letter of support? Or I think the city asking us for a representative is a great first step of an example of the city sort of empowering this commission. Is now we have a voice at the aforementioned meetings. Christine will go through, and she can bring that back, debrief us, and then hopefully that would educate the city on sort of what's going on in this action plan. Yeah,
I'm
It's a great
comfortable,
first step.
but I think it's a significant change from Keep Englewood Beautiful to the Sustainability Commission, to where the Sustainability Commission says, we have an opinion, and I think we have an opinion, and we just want City Council to know what our opinion is.
Yeah.
So if it's in the record, I'm okay, and if I'm out of bounds, somebody wrote me in.
Newbie question.
Yeah.
What is Christine's role within that? And then coming back to the commission, how do we affect that as a commission?
So she would be on the strategy commission. So she would go to each one. I'm not exactly sure how many there would be per month, but I know it would go from August or September. And then for 6 to 8 months, I believe, don't quote me on that. But she can come and do a report out to you all if you want on how the meetings are going. Can all talk about it. You can really make it your own of how you would like to interact with the EV action plan. But I think her doing a kind of a report out to you all on it would be a great, great start.
That's sort of what we're here to flesh out. We can figure that out. And will Christine report, I know she'll come back and report to us. Will she also be a liaison to council at presentations on the EV action plan or the sustainability plan?
I feel like if there are opportunities to, which there definitely will be when the plan is finished and throughout, absolutely. Any representative that's going to be on there. I always love having more backup with city council, the more the better. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be eager to hear what Christine thinks after her first sort of strategy meeting, because that might inform our next steps, Rick. You know, can we send Christine back armed with information or questions? You know, what do we want to find out as a commission, right? I have no issues with Christine. I think she'll be a wonderful representative for the action plan at these meetings. So add it to the record too. Vote of approval. Any other comments on Christine being our representative there? Stephen?
Yeah, I add my vote of support for Christine and do want to, I'd love to see how that fleshes out. I like your idea, Logan, that we could send her back armed with questions from us and have her come back with some representation of the strategy so that we can think through it with her. I'm a huge fan of as much as we can possibly do that's clean and green, especially in such a huge greenhouse gas area like cars. I do think there's plenty of questions that deserve answers, including what's the ultimate impact on, will there be a significant impact on energy prices in our community if we have a lot more electric cars on the grid? Will there be, I have some questions about the minerals that are mined and how they're mined. So sustainability is not just greenhouse gases, but it's also what's in the earth that we're taking out of it that can't be replaced. So I don't have 100% confidence that we're ready. I think it's moving in the right direction, but I have questions that I'd like answered still.
Absolutely. Thanks for that, Stephen. I think we can be a catalyst there, at least to get more information for the city. Absolutely. Any other comments? Great. Christine, we got a wrap. Thanks, guys.
Okay, so my next exciting update is that the city submitted a letter of intent to the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment for their Front Range waste diversion. I don't know why that's a tongue twister for me. And we find out on July 22nd if we get to go for a full proposal. And we submitted one for a 1-year pilot composting program at all city government buildings. Since we don't have, single hauler trash, we can't really affect much change with composting community-wide. So the best way that we can kind of start and take that first step is with our own city municipal operations. So if we do get that funding, which would be good for 2023, it would cover full costs of the composting program, as well as a biannual education outreach and events for the public and for city staff. So I think it would just be a really, really great opportunity for the city to make a dent in composting, which we've definitely heard from a lot of residents they want to see. Any questions or comments on that?
I would echo the city, sentiments of the city, and I would love to, Mel, find out how we can collaborate or co-lead on any of the public education, public outreach initiatives, even if that's drafting a one-pager or information for the sustainability engaged site.
I'm curious, if we get the funding for that, does that extend to city sponsored events and things like the block party? Would we be able to have composting and
So events, it would not cover that. So that's, this works perfectly with the low waste events, the next one. So our Mayor Sierra inquired about what the city could or is doing around zero waste events. And so Tony, the events coordinator, Christina Underhill, who oversees parks, and our city manager's intern, we all met last week, 2 weeks ago, to talk about, what steps could we take to help move the city towards zero waste. And the best first step for us, especially because we don't have a foundation right now for anything dealing with zero waste, is to first aim for low waste events. So we're looking at ways, how can we maybe collaborate to get composting for events, or even just to increase like our recycling on events. So we're currently trying to figure that out now. And if anyone ever has any recommendations or comments or anything around anything sustainability or low waste events, always feel free to reach out to the commission, Logan, myself. I'm always open ears for anything.
Great. Thanks, Mel.
Yeah, so that covers that grant. That covers low waste events.
I'm sorry, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So just with the grant process with the city, can you walk through that timeline? If we as a commission decided we wanted to apply or encourage the city to apply for a grant for fiscal year 2023, when do we need to have that in by? Have we missed that for 2023 or?
Are you talking about specifically for the Front Range Waste Diversion Grant, for other grants?
Any?
Because grants overall, they really vary and depend, when they're due, when they disperse the funding. So it's on a grant by grant basis. If the Sustainability Commission was interested in a grant, the best way to do it would be to send to me and say, I would like the city to apply, and this is why X, Y, and Z. And then those funds can get dispersed into the proper city budget fund for it to go to.
Okay, so the city budget's not final locked. We can always add money to it if we did get grant monies that came in later in the year if we applied.
I would say I'm not the financial expert, so I can definitely come back and loop around when we talk. I talk to my financial department. In my opinion, I feel like there would be no issue if you're adding money to the fund. I think the biggest thing is if you're detracting money
Yep,
from
that
the
makes total
fund.
sense. Okay,
But I will definitely do a follow-up on that one.
thanks. Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, you're all good. Any other questions about that? Perfect. And then for SoulSmart, another really exciting thing is that all of the kind of head department people that SoulSmart would impact gave the program a green light. Our city attorney's office reviewed the program, also gave it a green light. So hopefully this week, by latest next week, we'll have something signed and sent over and start the process for the SoulSmart program. And to back up and to give some.
Thank you. I was gonna ask.
Welcome to give some background. So SoulSmart is a completely free program provided by the Department of Energy. And essentially what you do is if you sign up for this program, they provide you technical advisors and they go through things like your development code, building codes, and they help work with cities to remove the red tape basically for solar. Which is really wonderful because a lot of that stuff can be pretty time consuming and they're offering to do it for us for free. A lot of communities in Colorado have already done it. It's either 28 or 38 have already have some kind of SoulSmart designation. There's bronze, silver, gold. And so once we start, we would go through a checklist to see where we are because maybe we automatically get the kind of initial designation, but obviously we'd want to go for gold. But yeah, they really just walk us through to see how we can be the most solar friendly city possible.
Is this a municipal building wise? Is this community? Is this?
So it's a few things. So their checklist, they have categories for like community outreach and education where you can get points. And then there's also kind of like operational. So like, do some of your city buildings have solar panels, which 3 of our city buildings do, the Civic Center, Malley Center, and the Service Center. I'm not exactly sure how much is needed for those points, but then there's also verbiage in your development code. Do you have X, Y, and Z? Building code, do you have X, Y, and Z? So it was really great because I did a presentation both for our head of planning for the development code and our head for building operations. And they both were like, yes, totally fine with this program and are very open and welcoming to it, which is nice. And then, yeah, it was great to get the city attorney approval too, because I think that just puts us in a nice safe spot. So yeah, that's moving along really well. And hopefully by the next meeting, we can be on our way already to doing the checklist.
Love it.
Any questions, comments there?
So these, the SoulSmart, EV Action, these were all projects that we provided feedback on and approved for the city's sustainability, within the city's sustainability plan, correct, Mel?
Yep, so SoulSmart is a new key project in the updated sustainability plan. And then the EV Action Plan, while we don't specifically call out an EV Action Plan in the updated one, we do call out to investigate the GoEV City commitment, which in order to do that, you have to commit to doing an EV Action Plan. So it's kind of like hidden in there a little bit, or not hidden, it's just not explicitly said. But yeah, they all align with the strategic plan. And I think that's another big thing. So any project, especially that the commission or I take on, city council really wants to see like, how does this progress our strategic plan, which the sustainability plan is housed in there. So any projects that the sustainability commission is like, hey, we would like to do this, a key point would be, okay, what point area in the plan? Yeah, how does it fit?
The master.
Uh-huh. Great. Okay, so next is the business blitz. So at the end of July, we're confirming dates tomorrow. Again, this is a free offering through Excel. Excel representatives and myself are going to go out 3 different days for the business community in Englewood. And we're going to be signing people up if they want to. It's completely voluntary for a free energy efficiency audit of their business. And so once they get this audit, it's a pretty in-depth report, which is really great. So it shows their current electricity use. I think it's electricity and natural gas. And then they show energy efficiency updates that they could make, their return on investment if they made those updates, rebates that apply to them if they want to do it. And then if they want to do next steps, how to actually get involved with doing that. This one is great because it's free. Two, I think it's great because it kind of connects sustainability with the business sector, which sometimes can be very cohesive, sometimes cannot. And then also it aligns with our plan to help businesses with energy efficiency, either through rebates or programs. So it's going to be a really great and fun opportunity. So if you know an Englewood business that wants to sign up or is interested, feel free to send them my way.
I'll be eager to see some of the first reports that come out from the business audits. Will those be public?
I'm assuming they wouldn't be public because they're a private business.
Maybe we can snag one, and I'd love to redact it and see. I just want to see an example.
Yeah, and also, so our economic development manager, he's really on board and excited with this too. And he was like, I would love if there's like a success story that comes out of this, like if a business gets the audit and then makes the changes and saves a lot of money, that we do like a feature on them or something. Just because if it is successful, maybe this is something we do every year, again, because it's free and why not? And it's outreach and education. But yeah, I think kind of seeing the tangible benefits from it would be really great.
Absolutely.
Great. And then my final high level overview is just reminding people that our sustainability report out to City Council is going to be this coming Monday. Michael Chisholm will be there with me. If you want to attend, more than welcome to. You just have to let me know, because if we have more than 5 Sustainability Commission members there, it is technically an official meeting, and which is absolutely no worries. We would just have to post it online. So if you do think you're going to go virtually or in person, just let me know. You can either fill out the survey or send me an email. Let me know in person. But yeah, it should be a good night. Great.
Now, what does the sustainability report to council entail? It'll be you and Tim.
Oh yeah, so it'll mainly be me. Tim's just doing my brief little introduction, but mainly the report out for council. I'm going over high level of the 2021 plan, which was much smaller than our new updated one. So an overview of 2021, kind of what did we accomplish, what ones were delayed and in progress. I'm going over the accomplishments we've already made in 2022, some of the new metrics that we have in there, and then some of the current projects, as well as kind of how we've started to build the sustainability program. So I started with the city in February, so not too long ago, and I've been building kind of the sustainability program, not from scratch, but essentially a little bit. So I'm presenting to them also about like what has been done in the past 5 months. And then we're going to end the presentation with the bow of talking about the awesome work of the Sustainability Commission, which I'm just really excited. I'm so happy you're going to be there because I think it's so much more impactful coming from one of you all.
Yeah, thankful for you being there, Mike, and super thankful for you, Mel, just for the record.
Thank you. I'm grateful for you all. Okay, now for the fun household hazardous waste updates. So I heard you all of wanting to switch the budget. We're going to try and switch the household hazardous waste budget to my budget. I do the contracts and the request for proposals anyways. It's really not any more of an addition of work for me. So going forward, obviously you all will have a say going into 2023 for those going forward, but any of kind of the grueling stuff will then be on me for years forward. So that is the hope for the 2023 budget. And then, so there are dates set. We don't have our contractors yet. We're going through them right now. But the dates are set. So it's going to be Saturday, September 10th and Saturday, September 17th. Same time as the years before. So it's, if you're volunteering, it's 7:30 to 2:30. And again, no one is required to volunteer, but the actual event is 8 to 2. We have a volunteer sign up that is live. You can find that on the Englewood Engaged Sustainability page.
Check it out.
And yeah, that's the main thing for volunteering. And then, so there is a new item I added on here, which is the co-pays. So just getting your all like opinions and feedback. So typically for the household hazardous waste events, have either of you 3 ever gone to Englewood's household? Oh, So each year, or do you want to give the background of the hazardous waste?
I've volunteered once.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
So each year for the past, oh my God, like 5+ years, the Keep Englewood Beautiful Commission, which is now Sustainability Commission, has done household hazardous waste events, and it's 2 Saturdays per year where residents can come, they pay a copay, and they can legally get rid of household hazardous waste. So it's a really great event. I've gotten so many calls from people about when this is gonna be, so I can already tell it's very popular. And yeah, that's fun.
There is a lot of desire to have this day every year throughout the city, and it's a very important. They're long days, and our charge to Mel and the city coming into 2022, because historically it's been members of KEB showing up to volunteer, right, with a couple city staff. It makes for long days, right? So I'm glad you mentioned the volunteer link. I actually just pulled it up. It's on our engaged page. Sign up to be a volunteer for the annual Household Hazardous Wastes and Electronic Recycling event. Great. I signed up last week. I'll be doing a double shift that first weekend. It's a great way to get in front of the community and see each other and just spend a Saturday. And I think it's back-to-back weeks. Is that right?
Back-to-back weeks,
Yeah.
yeah, because it looked like in the past that's how it was, so
Yeah.
I just kept with tradition.
That's great. Keep the template. So any update on sort of volunteer recruitment? Do y'all?
Yeah, so
have any-
Tim Weaver, put all his dates, he's gonna be there every single day. But then I'm also gonna do a broadcast to our city staffers. We have something called the Grub Hub where it's like 200+ city staffers that come, and it's just a way to hear updates from Sean Lewis, our city manager. And I put an agenda item on there, so I'm gonna tell everyone about the event and see if they wanna sign up. But also Tim Weaver from Littleton did say that he was gonna try and get 5 volunteers, so I am gonna follow up with him and see if he's
Push them
gonna.
on that.
And then my boyfriend's also coming, he's gonna be a volunteer, so.
I see Tim on here. That's great. All right, guys, we need to bump these names up, okay? There's a couple for each time. That's exciting. If we can get 5, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
It is a good day. Usually someone brings breakfast and coffee and all the things. So we'll figure that out.
I will bring all those things. I
Thank
got
you,
that
Mel.
covered. I got that covered. One final kind of like, I was gonna say tidbit item, and that is not right, but is going over the co-pays for the event. So it has been the same for the past 2 years. I just wanted to see if you all wanted to keep it, and I'll pull up the prices now. You by all means can. They were the same, so they've been the same for the past 2
Buried on
years.
what you were bringing in.
Right, there are two separate cash co-pays for everybody
Mm-hmm.
bringing something in. I can't remember for the life of me what those two, was it 10 and 15 or 5 and 10 bucks?
It was like 5 and 10,
Okay.
depending on
Okay,
whether it was paint or computers.
Okay, so here is the one, I switched it to the new
there it
year.
is. Okay,
So household, and this is what it has been for the past 2 years. Again, you guys can change it. The only thing I will say is if you lower it, these co-payments do help us pay for the price of hosting the event.
Right.
So then we just kind of risk that. But again, totally up to you all. If you want to keep it, if you want to raise it, if you want to lower it.
Was the cost offset by the co-payments last year?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think there was no issue. That's what I was told, but I can definitely look into that.
I think it's a fraction. So in other words, probably 80% of it comes from Englewood and or Littleton, and then maybe 10 to 20% is the copay. I think the idea of the copay was just to have some buy-in on the part of the citizens and also to defray some of the costs. And my only thought is simple is best, because we're not trying to make money. And you sometimes can get into confusing conversations with people, but I have 2 computers and 5 gallons of used paint. You know, I would just say,
I've had
give
those
me $20.
conversations. Yeah.
And
I've
I
had the
think
same
that,
numbers.
you know, it's like, let's just keep the line moving.
Because there is a line, there's a
Yeah.
ton of interest.
And we're not cops, so
Yeah.
simple is
Yeah.
better. Simple is better. And that, but people, 99% of everybody is enthused and appreciative of doing it. So it's a happy time. There's no grumbling or.
No,
No.
I mean, they run it, in years past, they run a tight ship. I mean, the line is long and it's continual. But the citizenry comes educated, 85, 90% know what the copays are, and they have their cash ready. I mean, it's moving. You get the random conversation every 10 cars. So anyway, I would encourage you to sign up and join us. It's a fun, how you define fun, a fun day, in my opinion. Thanks, Mel. Any comments or feedback on the copays? If it works, don't fix it is sort of my,
Is there any thought that the copay is inhibiting anybody from coming?
fair question. I had that thought. I did not hear any negative feedback to the copay. There are questions maybe, Rick, where does the copay money go? And it's to offset the cost for the city to handle the waste, right? But I didn't hear any qualms, or there was no griping, and no one pulled a 180 and pulled back out because they didn't have enough money. Because at the end of the day, you got stuff and you have $5 or $10, great, we'll take it, right?
Mel, one thing that would really be helpful is a sign that says what that says
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
very simple terms. Because I've repeated that story 100 times. If you have even less detail than that, maybe just some bullet points. So I'm sitting in the car and I see the sign, oh, it's gonna be $20. It'll make it easier for everybody.
So have a sign kind of when they're driving in.
Yeah, like a tent sign or a fold.
Yeah,
I think it would,
fold.
yeah,
On
a
the side
little
of the
bigger
road.
than that.
You know,
I
there's
think
a
that's a
word,
great idea.
my hieroglyphic. or
But I
something.
think it would speed up the line and it would eliminate a lot of explanation on why are we charging a copay.
I think that's great.
Agreed. I think the copays are fine where they are, but
Mhm.
something challenge me if you want.
Great.
Onward.
Onward. That means-
Don't take credit cards, that can be on the sign too.
Do people try to pay with credit cards?
I haven't been asked about it.
1 in 50. But
Okay.
again, these are just little glitches. If you
No
just,
CCs. That's-
yeah, if
that's
you just
simple.
don't have that, you can just keep the line moving that much faster.
I haven't gotten a check. No one's tried to write.
Occasionally you get a check. You do get a check.
Oh, sorry,
That's fancy.
my laptop's extra slow today. Oh, come on. Okay, well, while I pull this up, the next item, Stephen had brought this up a few meetings ago of just if the commission has ever done anything around education and outreach around household hazardous waste events. So I wanted to re-bring that up for this one to see if you all wanted to do anything around it. Absolutely no worries if not. And if so, how I can help assist, do anything around that.
When does the monthly really nice magazine go out?
Ooh, Englewood Citizen, isn't that quarterly and it just went out
It
in?
just went out. Mel's on the front.
Oh,
Uh,
that picture is the
stop.
worst picture.
Okay, that's fine that we missed that one, but I know the neighborhood newsletter through Madeline Hinkfist, we could maybe pitch that in. I can reach out or you can reach out. I sort of have an open dialogue with her right now. But I'd love to maybe solicit volunteers through the neighborhood newsletter. 1, 2, I'd love to see it be blasted in social media over August as we lead up to those September dates, just to get just volunteers. That'd be great.
Do we have a booth at the block party? Isn't that in August too?
Block party is, yeah, isn't it in August? I should know
Or
this.
are there other events like that, like where we might have a booth where we could talk to people too?
So the Sustainability Commission is always welcome to have a booth at any event, and it would be completely free because it's a city commission. So that's an option. But then also the city usually, if not always, has their own kind of like city department booths and we could have information there. And I think that's a great idea too.
When is the block party? We need to know that. Thank you for asking.
I feel like it was like August 28th, 27th.
Yeah, let me see. August 27th. So we can bump this down to part of this project discussion next. But if we do want to have a booth, Matthew, we need to talk about that and what that looks like in terms of who's there, what sort of content do we want? And we can bring that up and finalize that at our August meeting because that'll come in right before the block party. But we need to make a decision if we're going to be there pretty soon, I would assume.
Yes, I would say yes. Something I can do if you all want, I can work on kind of like a one pager and then bring it to you all in August to approve or disapprove. I don't know if that's easier or just because I know the block party is coming up.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Could this, a one pager or something which is sort of a bullet point thing of the highlights of what the sustainability current is doing, could include the leaf cleanup too, because it's coming up, and making it something which has upcoming events for people to be aware of.
Yeah.
And we could have a volunteer sign up sheet there too. Right, that'd be great. Okay, something to think about. Let's talk about that a little bit down the agenda here, and then yes,
For the brainstorm.
yeah, maybe in the brainstorm
Okay.
we'll add it.
Perfect. And then my final thing on household hazardous waste was just celebration ideas. If you all had any, I have some ideas, but I just wanted to make sure I'm giving space if anyone had stuff that they had in mind that they wanted to see for the post volunteer event.
The thoughts. Cool.
Okay. Okay, now for the kind of bulk of it. Hopefully you all saw the GoEV Resolution draft. So a bit of background on this. So investigating the GoEV Resolution is a project in development on our new plan. And so part of my role as the sustainability coordinator is really to look through all our projects and see what ones make the most sense to do when, where can we kind of pair them to get the most bang for our buck for effort. And so when I was looking into the GoEV commitment, I did a consultation call with someone from their organization. And I figured that this was actually the best time to do it since we're going to find out if we get chosen for the EV action plan the first week of August. So essentially, this is a commitment that a city writes, a city council typically will sign for the resolution saying that they're going to do an EV action plan over the next 18 months or within 18 months. And then you really list out kind of the overarching goals that you would like to accomplish in your EV action plan. And the goals don't have to list out painstakingly every single goal that you want to accomplish, just kind of a good feel of what you would like to. So I took a stab at the resolution and looking at other cities who passed theirs, and I copied a lot of their lingo because it looked like other cities copied just the template one as well, but then also making it unique to your own city. So Christine Brinker submitted some of her edits so I can pull them up, and if you have any, I was thinking I can just make edits in real time so you all can see. Does that work for everyone?
What does this do?
The resolution.
Mm-hmm.
So the resolution, if city council signs it, would basically be their commitment to doing an EV action plan. It would be showing their commitment as a city to be doing the EV action plan, but also their commitment to trying to kind of clean up the transportation sector kind of as a whole. Because within it, it says, you know, we would work with the public, like RTD kind of organizations to help them. We would look at our own municipal fleet to see how we can electrify there, a lot of education and outreach. But overall, from what I understood of it, was really just driving home that we would do the EV action plan over the next 18 months.
When do we need to have edits in?
So great question. So we have a spokesperson coming to talk to city council on August 22nd. I think he will just do a much more eloquent job of explaining GoEV and, you know, their kind of commitment better than I will. So he's gonna go through all the benefits, answer all the questions for them. He told me it's really helpful though, when they're getting this presentation, to have a resolution that they can kind of look at. So having a draft resolution that they can kind of get a better grasp and understanding of. The resolutions take a little bit because I think a few drafts have to go before like a final one. So I was hoping to kind of get the edits back from this one and then push it forward so they have the draft. But there's also no rush. Like if people don't feel comfortable with it, I'm happy to take edits and take as much time as need be.
So you have it ready. Is that what you have ready, Rick? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. My thought, I'd love to hear feedback, and it's fine if we want to go through it tonight, great. I have some items I'd like to get through too. If it seems like we have time, if it's due on the 22nd, or it's being presented on the 22nd, the week before we get it to whomever's presenting, our August meeting is the 9th, pretty early in the month in August, which is nice. Is there any way, Mel, we could do a shared working doc where we can go in, leave feedback, edits, comments, and have you respond to them? Is that too cumbersome? Do we want to just run through it? I see it's 4 pages tonight. That could take some time. Is this something that we can do offline? Do we want to do this tonight, guys? I'm open to feedback here. We do have more I'd like to get through in the agenda, and I'll just say that.
So one option that we did last meeting, and I can't remember what for, but is kind of seeing if we want to do, or if you all want to do a vote first. If you accept the well, actually no, because Christina already gave edits, so that would be a no right off the bat. I think a shared drive, the only problem with that is that I don't know if it would be commission whole of like voting on.
I see. How much time do you have allotted for this?
I have 15 minutes.
Think we can get through it 15?
I feel like yes, maybe I'm just being really optimistic.
Rick, do you have any immediate thoughts? I see you have it in front of you. I don't mean to put you on the spot. You can
No,
say
that's okay. I guess I need some clarification on what its intent is. Are we just recognizing the problems? Is that what the whereases are? In other words, these are things which we feel are issues that need to be addressed. And then is this action plan on the second page, is it kind of what we would recommend? Is that how that works?
Exactly. So the whereas is really just the reasons why that we want the resolution to pass. And then on the second page really says, okay, noticing all these whereas before, this is why the city of Englewood declares and pledges that we are going to do this EV action plan. We're going to do it over the next 18 months. And by August, we'll know for sure or not if we're picked for the EV action plan. So I think city council would feel comfortable saying, okay, yes, we are for sure going to do this if Excel already picked us to do the plan.
Right.
So we say we're going to do that. And then the following, so it's saying that we're doing this EV action plan. And then a part of the resolution that GoEV said, it just said it wants us to list out some of the goals that we want to see in the EV action plan. I looked at other cities and they had about this many goals listed. So I tried to put about as many goals as the other cities also had, but ones that I still felt that, pertain to our community. And also GoEV really encouraged to put wordage around there of helping kind of like the transportation network companies, Uber and Lyft. So kind of working with them. The one thing is they don't really put a deadline on any of these, which I think there's a good and bad thing, but for city council, they're just saying that at some point we would be working with these organizations.
I have a timing mechanical question.
Yeah.
I think this is great. More. Do. I'm in favor of it. There's mention in the guidelines that one approach to EV charging stations is to have solar panels, like a solar farm on top of a roof of a city building that you could go directly from the solar panels of a car. Well, there's a whole bunch of construction being planned in Englewood. Going to be a whole development of buildings, avenues, etc. I think it would be awful if this process took 15 months, and I don't know when they're gonna break ground on new buildings, what I'm getting at is, can we call a timeout and say to the city, heads up, this EV thing is really cool, we're in favor of it. The city redevelopment's really cool. Should somebody be thinking about solar panels on top of all this new development so that we could have direct charge stations there? I mean, it's the clock that's the issue. So that's my question of how do you raise that flag? Might be impossible, might be possible, but to me, that's part of what our job is to do, is to raise a flag and say to the city planners, et cetera, heads up, something to think about. You know, so 2 years from now, gee, we should have thought about that 18 months ago. So that's all. That's the one thing that jumped out at me. And like I said, I think it's all good.
Of how to like better incorporate solar into the EV action plan.
If a developer's told to do it, they can do it. It just simply has to come from the city and say, make it happen. So.
Are you part
I
of
don't know how
the,
to make that happen.
you should be part of the Code Next discussions. I know they're talking a lot about solar. And that's what actually Soul Smart, once they get, we're part of their program, they would look at a lot of those codes for development for solar. So I think, but yeah, I think that's incredibly important.
So just.
Can that be included in this?
For like how to,
Something into this that basically puts a little more meat behind that.
so like how to better pair or,
In the action
Maybe
plan
to have-
itself.
yeah, maybe to like, I'm trying to think of wordage. My brain after 5 PM is not the best.
That's what I'm saying is maybe someone could take a stab, anybody could take a stab at incorporating that in a shared doc, but if there's legal stipulations around.
Well, just so with resolutions, it has to go through a few steps until it becomes kind of a final resolution to go to city council.
Yeah.
To consider signing.
Didn't we do something similar with our bylaws and when, Tim was working on updating the bylaws and it like emailed them around and, we all had kind of a set period to send comments back and then.
A few days a week, something like that.
Yeah, and then I think you and Tim just kind of took everybody's combined comments and presented us with like a final.
We voted, like we can vote in August. But if we need to get comments in the next week, great, we have some homework. We can do that. So I see Christine's already provided hers, Rick might have a few. But someone could take a stab at adding a bullet of putting some time parameters on some of this, if that was your thought, Mike. So, is that possible? Could we sort of just say, what is today, the 12th? Mel, what's a good timeline for you in the city? I mean, is it a week? Is it 2 weeks? Is it before our next commission meeting where we have a final draft, do a quick review and then vote on it?
Yeah, what we could do is anyone who wants to add edits, kind of what Christine did, is just send me those tracked edits
Track your changes. Yeah.
in a document. And then what I can do is I can compile all of those edits. I'll track them. And then at the next meeting, we could say, do we vote on approval of all of the Sustainability Commission? And then if there is kind of like one piece that someone isn't like for or wants to talk about, then we can kind of pull that out at a micro level. But I'm more than happy to do it that way too.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Does that sound good? Okay, perfect.
Most collaborative way to go about it, yeah.
Perfect, perfect.
We can dedicate some time next month.
Okay, let me share. So I think the next thing up is the brainstorm.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, it is time check, 7:29. Let's call it 7:30. Been about an hour. I want to, there's some bullets up here on the share screen. At the beginning of our commission meeting, I outlined sort of the transition from KEB. I highlighted sort of what we've been able to do the last 6 months. If we could walk away tonight, having talked about what is in the immediate future in terms of projects that we might be interested in, and develop sort of a running rough draft list, I would take that as a win. So that's my idea around this brainstorm. And I'm happy to start with the turf replacement. That's the top of my list. But if you guys are okay with that, I might just stand up and write on the whiteboard. Just kind of get interactive. I might spend the next 30 minutes if that's okay. Let's try and call it an 8 o'clock. But if we can come up with 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, just a running project list, and then we can have that list as a foundation to come back to of what's our next action step on any of these projects. What's low hanging fruit? What can we get done, right? As I mentioned, I feel like we're in a transition pivotal period the next few months. So let's take advantage of these summer and fall months. Let's identify some projects that we're interested in and have this running list as sort of a status check. Let's come back to it. If that's okay with you guys. That was sort of my idea for the next half hour, and then we can wrap it up for the night and revisit some things in August. Mel, do you have any objection to that?
No, and also I'm not a voting member, so it wouldn't even matter if I did.
Okay, so if you had a process. I mean, we're figuring this out. We're a new commission, about 8 months in. I just figured I'd get on the whiteboard and just start writing. I've got some immediate ideas that I would
Go for it.
that I'd like to hear projects from you guys. What are you guys hearing in the community? And then we can save a space, a bullet for next step. What does that mean for us as a commission? So if that's okay with you guys, I'm just going to rattle some things off. So the first one was encouraging the city to apply for a turf replacement. And this turf replacement program is a bill, HB 1151, that passed this year in the state legislature. You all were given a fact sheet about it. That's a grant program that's being put together by the Colorado Water Conservation Board. And there's 2 ways that you can apply as an individual or as a municipality, right? To essentially lock up, the city will pay you to pull up turf, your own turf, to xeriscape, do whatever. And I think that's great. I think it's a great initiative, and that's money that is there that we should apply for. So I'll just put turf replacement. Forgive my
So we would be
Person.
encouraging the city to pursue this.
correct.
Okay.
Yep. And if that means me taking a stab at drafting a letter and what'd you call that, Mel? A resolution or something, that's fine. I'll do that. I can bring a draft next month, right? And we can send that to the city saying, hey, this is the Sustainability Commission stamp of approval that we should apply to this grant program. Because if you looked at the fact sheet, the best way to do it, I don't think Englewood has a turf replacement program yet. Some municipalities do, many do. And if the municipality applies, it's essentially double dollars. They'll match, right? It's a matching program. So you can grow the city's current program if we had one. So 1, encouraged Englewood to develop a program. And then 2, if we don't have one, which sounds like the state, the Colorado Water Conservation Board, will offer services through a third party. So if I wanted to xeriscape and pull up turf in my front yard, I would go through their chosen third party, and the third party would pay me to do it, right? So it's a really cool program, in my opinion. So that's kind of up here at the top. Let me know if you have any questions, and definitely check my spelling. Composting projects. You mentioned that at the top of the meeting, Mel. If there's any collaboration that we can do with the city, I'll say with city, I'm all about it. And that means public education, drafting 1-pagers, putting content on Englewood Engaged. Keep confusing it with Elevate, Rick. Englewood Engaged, great. Let's help the city do that. If we can draft some talking points or commission anybody want to take a stab at that, great. So composting alongside the city. This is an idea that was brought by former member Dana. Dana is the brainchild behind the Depot Park Pollinator Garden. If you've been, I'd love to take a tour there as a group. Historically, Keep Englewood Beautiful did, it was a personal favorite that we did, Christmas light judging. And I thought it was great. It was cool. And the city gave awards for the best business and best residential Christmas lights, right? It's fun. When you think of sustainability, maybe blasting lights for weeks on end is not the best way to go about it. So Dana had a wonderful idea. Yeah, right. So let's flip that on its head and go the other way of something, sustainable landscape awards, right? So essentially there would be a top 3 business and a top 3 residential. And we would have to define the criteria of how you can win that award. You know, is it native plants? Is it the least amount of water used? If you want to disclose that, I don't know. We can talk about all that, but that's just an idea. So let's do sustainable. What did I say?
Landscape.
Landscape. Kind of ties in with the turf replacement thing.
Yeah. I'll say awards. And so we need to work with the city. I don't know who does Christmas tree. Is that Madeline?
I think it did get switched to her.
Great. Happy to reach out to her about that. I want to give credit to Dan. That was a great idea. I loved it. So I'd love to see that. And I don't know the prime months for when sustainable land, when native landscape really pops. Is that June, July, August, September? We can figure that out, and we can maybe in 2023 pursue that. And what we did with the Christmas lights was we used the city trolley one night, and we all just went around as a group and literally looked at all the participants' homes. It was great. Maybe we can somehow incorporate some EV action into that. 4th idea here. I've been talking with Madeline Hinkfist, who runs the Englewood neighborhood program, project, whatever.
Neighborhood resource.
Yeah, thank you.
Resources.
And one thing I want to do with this, I'd like to see this commission do, is open the lines of communication with neighborhood groups. There are a handful of neighborhood groups, and the city just approved the new neighborhood plan. They've been going through that for several months now. I want to get in front of those neighborhood groups, and I'll plan to attend. They have a neighborhood networking meeting, and the next one's in September. I plan to attend. I'd love to be there on behalf of the commission, or if anybody wants to join me or go by yourself, whatever. And just let them know that we exist. We're here. We want to be sort of a middle group between you and the city. What do you need from us? Do you need grant money up? Do you need grant applications? Do you want to come speak to our commission about a certain project you're working on? Let us know what at a grassroots level is being done in the community. And I have a prime example that I'll get to here in a second. So I'm going to put neighborhood group, let's say outreach and communication. Let's call just an idea. And they do that newsletter. So if we ever had anything we wanted to post in that newsletter, we could do that through their group. And that example leads me to something that I might have Mike speak to. And this is what I've dubbed the Cherokee, I'll say Cherokee Street lot, Mike.
Mhm.
It's a beautification project that's currently ongoing. It's, where am I directing?
Cherokee and
It's
Floyd.
right here. It's just an open lot at Cherokee and Floyd. Thank you. I encourage you to drive by when you leave here tonight.
Order from Wells Fargo.
Yep, behind King Soopers, behind all that. Meg Donaldson, who's running point on that right now, she actually applied for the city's new neighborhood rehab, is it grant or beautification grant?
Then the grant.
And got awarded the money. It's not a small amount. It's a couple $1,000s.
3,000 on it.
That's a pretty good amount of money. And Mike, if you can jump in anytime, it's essentially an open lot. It's just a blacktop with nothing. It's an old parking lot, it looks like. Nothing's on it. And so this group at Cherokee and Floyd said, well, can we turn this into something? Can we tear up asphalt? Can we put planter boxes or beautify it, do a mural or something, you know? And so they're going through the steps to really turn this thing around, and they've made some progress, but I don't know if you have any additional
Well,
thoughts there.
it's an interesting, I applaud Meg's efforts. I mean, she gets all the credit. She's been pushing it. But it seems ironic that we have nothing to do with it. It seems we're the
Agreed.
Sustainability Commission, and here's a neighborhood group who's trying to do something in the direction of sustainability, and we're spectators at most. Now, I don't want to charge in and steal anybody's thunder. I mean, if Meg's got this thing under control, that's,
Great question.
Weird question. The city's like half owner and some private investors are half owner. And therein lies one of the problems of why we can't get a decision. But
I
that's,
wish,
that's
Councilman
the
was here.
so anyways, it's sitting there and the last verdict that came out was Meg and her neighborhood group could do something for a year. Because should it ever be developed, somebody has a dog in that fight. That's okay, we'll take a year. We could put planter boxes up and we could put, but it's, I live 4 doors down, so I'm not objective about this. But it's just the ugliest lot in the world and Englewood's got all kinds of them. So we just drive by them and say, keep Englewood beautiful, and it's just drives me crazy. So Meg's trying to get something going on. It would seem it would be nice if we could help her and the Cushing Park neighborhood group accomplish something.
Yep.
So, but she's not asking for help.
She's not, and I emailed her the other day and said, hey, if you think it's too many cooks in the kitchen here,
Yeah.
shoot me down. I just want to let you know that we exist and we're here to be a resource. How can we help you? Even if that means being a cheerleader to the city council.
We could do
Hey,
that.
make this project's on our radar. We want it to be on yours. Here are some ideas of what we would approve as a commission, right? So that's sort of between, neighborhood, group outreach, and then I just named the actual project. Couple other things I'll rattle off real quick, and I hope you guys can hear me online. I talked to Mel about this briefly a few weeks ago. Open space grants. Arapahoe County offers free money for city municipalities to apply for open space grants. And these can go to a number of things. I'm happy to pull up a one-pager for you. And the city applied last year. Is that
I want to
correct?
say that we got a decent chunk of money from that.
Okay, great. Let's do this. Let's do,
So something I can
Reapply.
reach out to Christina and see
that'd be great.
an update on kind of what they're doing.
So I would encourage us to encourage the city to reapply for that open space grant from Arapahoe County. A lot of good can come from that. Another bill that came from the legislature this year was Senate Bill 193. There's a lot in it. Take a look if you want to be wonky and nerd out on policy. But in that, they talk about money for e-bikes, an e-bike rebate program. That's of particular personally interest to me. Mike got me drinking the tea whenever he showed me his e-bike recently. But cities across Colorado are implementing e-bike rebate programs. Longmont's got one. You've probably read the news. Denver's got one of the best ones in the country right now. Minimum is $400 for you to go buy an e-bike offline. It's great. This screams sustainability to me, getting cars off the road, right? Second to that would be making Englewood a more bike-friendly city, which we can also talk about. But that e-bike rebate bike program is of interest.
We could do an e-bike rally.
Yeah, we could.
At the hazardous waste dump.
Hey, I like that. We just need our charging stations up there.
Why not?
It's 193. Check that out if you're interested. Happy to send resources. Just email me or now. Number 8, we've talked about this since March a little bit. This is it says, if you can read my cursive online, I highly doubt it. You can probably hardly read it in the room. GIS survey of Englewood blacktop and turf. So I just would like to see the city use some tools at its disposal. Maybe it's already being done. We don't need to recreate the wheel, but I'd like to see if we have the GIS tools at our expense, or the cities, I'd like to see them do a survey of existing blacktop, prime example, that can be replaced or beautified. Yes.
Well, so in line with that, and, thinking the Cherokee lot, like, is there anything, and probably, nobody probably knows here, but in the city code, right, around blacktop and, size, what the limits are, like if there's any restrictions, and I mean, if not, is that something that we maybe like recommend to code enforcement? Like, I don't even know if that's possible. But.
Yeah. Let's say.
Kara, I can ask our codes team about that and put it in my
I'm
update.
curious, and
Yeah.
I'm sure it ties in with like the planning and development group as well. But I mean, I would think there's something about about it in there.
You would hope that there's something.
Yeah, and I would hope so, and that these lots aren't just being neglected out there, and if they are, then maybe the rules need to be enforced, so.
I like that.
You know, if we got that picture, it'd make a great poster for the block party at our booth. People might want to look at that and think about it. And it would also make for a nice picture and an article in the Citizen in terms of when we say sustainability in Englewood,
Mhm.
here's the picture.
Yeah, blow it up just like that map. Fine.
Yeah, exactly.
I just think that's a cool idea. If we have the tools, which I've been told that we do. Awesome.
So I actually just this morning had a meeting with our GIS team about the turf replacement inventory. So they're specifically looking at the percentage of turf for municipal properties. But if you all think doing kind of like a community-wide turf replacement one, I could kind of put that on their docket.
Yep, I think that'd be great if you want to follow up with them.
Just-
That could be a next action step. What I didn't add to this was treetop coverage. I think we talked with urban forester Evan Anderson about
I think he's
That's-
doing a canopy assessment,
canopy
but
assessment. Okay,
I can follow up with him on that.
yeah. Would you?
Yeah,
That'd be
absolutely.
fantastic.
And I can,
I'm done. Thanks. Thanks. These are
Good job.
projects that have been brought to me, that have caught my ear, things I've heard about through Elevate, Rick, just anything that's just sort of caught my attention. I've been sort of keeping a running list. I wanted to make it public for you guys. We can cross any of these off. We can add two. I'd love to hear from anybody in the room in a line, Cara, and let's add to this list. Let's keep a running master list and then sort of figure out next action items. And if it means commissioning one another to initiate that next step, great. We can empower one another and do that. Yes.
So another one that credit has to go to Sienna as well, but I think it would be really great for our group to be involved, you know, maybe next season for like the urban planting season
Yes.
around all the parks, because there are basically no native plants. They're all annuals. It's very, very expensive.
Yep.
You know, if we can shift that into a more native gardening with perennials, that's a huge cost saver for the city.
Urban planting, I'll say, we say focus native plants. Okay, love that. Popcorn. What are you hearing about? What's of interest? Is there any, do we want to tour any infrastructure, any sites? We want to revisit the pollinator garden that Dan is running over there. I'm open. What I could have added, anything, I'm just very big on public education. Any campaigns we can get behind, any documents we can draft, anything that we can help the city push about anything and everything sustainability related. I'm personally passionate about. One second, Rick. Cara.
Well, I was gonna, so I don't know if the city does already, but if there are incentives or like other grant programs for, you know, smart houses or smart features in houses. I know when, I forget the guy's name, but who came and talked to us about, you know, the water. Yeah, and, you know, brought up like smart meters and
Yep.
you can actually see and monitor your usage and just stuff like that. If there are programs that exist already, or if we can create some
Yep.
to incentivize people to actually shift over.
Yes, Rick. I like that idea.
Here, can I dovetail on that
Of
one?
course.
I know for a fact that with the turnover we're having in homes in this area, with people coming in and buying into new homes and things, they're basically going from non-metered water to meter.
Yes.
Okay? In theory,
He talked about that.
in
Yeah,
theory,
he did.
Yeah.
That was a big
because
topic.
I know for a fact that there are people who've been in the city for over a year and have not been required to go to metered watering.
Right.
And I don't know where that falls or who would do that.
Excel runs the what was that? Is it Excel? No, it wouldn't be Excel.
Hey, city.
The city would do
Water.
that from AMR to AMI. Yeah, yeah,
Discuss the whole plan. I
yeah. He said they're
Like
figuring it out.
firming up that and making sure, I mean, we're not whip come group
Yeah.
here, but assuring that within a certain timely way that those people are transitioned over to.
Yeah.
Because if you're on unmetered watering, hey, what a great thing, right?
Mhm.
You know?
I do know, so Steve Simon left, so I think the utilities department is in a little bit of a grind because they're down a director. But I can reach out to them to do a follow-up to see just kind of where they are with metering. If you all want an update on that, I can absolutely do that.
That was a really cool presentation.
Yeah, I'd love to hear from Steve. Yes.
Just gonna shout out here. Kara's point about urban planning and perennials, I like all that. There was talk somewhere in one of our meetings, either Littleton did it or Englewood was thinking about doing it. Once we identify the tree deserts in Englewood, there was gonna be low-cost trees, so the residents who live in that part of Englewood could go buy a couple trees for not a lot of money. Is that a reality or is that just a concept out there being talked about?
I know other cities do that. We, for our Arbor Day, we gave trees, but I'm not sure if we gave them to low income. I don't think that's what Evan said. So that must have been Littleton.
Okay.
Is this different from the tree program where Englewood sells trees for very affordable price?
Right, is that a real
They-
thing?
They do, yeah, I got one.
Oh,
I
okay,
never
no,
got
that's good.
Yeah, no, you can purchase trees through the city, I believe in the springtime.
Okay.
Like April or something.
Arbor Day type of thing.
Yeah, and they're like $35 a tree, which
Oh, wow.
is super affordable, and they're, good trees for the
So
city.
that GIS
thought-
picture would be relevant to
Yeah.
that. If you lived in a tree desert,
Right,
you might say, I'm gonna put a tree in my front yard.
yeah, they definitely have, programs, but I thought, didn't we talk about another tree thing where like removing trees that we didn't want and like selling them to the public or something? Is there something?
I mean, we talked a lot about ash tree removal. Evan talked a long time about that. Forget his saying, keep the best and get rid of the rest or something.
Well, we can plug it into number 9, urban
Okay.
planting. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I've got tree planting projects with the city, or in addition to a recommended tree list for the citizenry. I will use that program next time it's
That's
available.
awesome, every year.
Was it pretty seamless?
It's good to know.
I have
Oh, yeah.
no trees on my property.
Oh my gosh, you need
Yeah.
to do this.
Well, I have a huge hole in my front yard where they pulled it up a few years before I moved in.
Oh,
But,
I'll help you.
you need a tree.
yeah, I need a tree, guys. Okay, so where can I put that in? Maybe under, let's just.
You could do it kind of under, this is just my
Yeah.
recommendation, you could do it under the sustainability goals, so like natural environment, so that would be the sustainable landscaping and the trees.
Okay,
Mel, do you know who runs that program for the tree sale?
That would be Evan now,
I wonder if there's any opportunity for us to.
because
engage-
he's our assistant urban forester, so I wouldn't see why he wouldn't run that.
All right, what department or program is that under? Is that through like the Parks Department? Okay.
He's under parks.
Say, could we somehow collab with city? Forgive my handwriting as it evolves over time. Last one for me, and I'd like to hear from anybody online, Marissa, Steve, and Jessica. This might have been a Dan idea too. An online comment box on our sustainability engaged page for anyone to sort of say, I don't know how we would want to word it or what that could even look like, but just an area or a link you can go to send an email maybe to you or the commission as a whole, whatever, saying, hey, this is a project we're working on. Hey, this is an issue that I'm experiencing. And this could be a total can of worms that we might not want to open. But I thought it was a neat idea, just sort of a comment box form that someone could fill out on our engaged page, just to really continue to build up that public facing.
So we currently have the sustainability community survey where they can place in order their top priority goals within the sustainability plan. And then they can also leave additional comments in there. They go directly to me, so I would just have to double check that I can share those out. But if I can always do kind of like a monthly update of what those comments are saying, just so you all can get a pulse of what people are.
I think that'd be great. Yeah, I would like to hear that update, Mel.
And I don't think that we're the be all and end all of knowing what to do sustainability wise in the city.
Yep.
And I think that there's a lot of good ideas out there that if, even on a regular meeting basis, 2 or 3 of those were, vetted through Mel for us to maybe explore or, something like that. That'd be great.
I'd like to add a bridge to that though, Rick. The easiest thing in the world is to throw out an opinion. The easiest thing in the world is to say, I think we need to put solar panels on every 3rd house in Englewood. Thanks, I just.
Yeah.
Great suggestion. Come to our next meeting and talk to us.
Yes.
In other words, I want to hear it, but ideas are cheap. I mean, do a little homework. That's why we're here. Come talk to us because you could get some real harebrained ideas.
Oh, yeah.
And then now do we have an obligation to do something?
Yeah.
You know,
Like I said, it
you
could be
know,
opening Pandora's box.
That's why I
Quid
mentioned
pro quo there.
basically
Yes.
sieving them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to your point, and I want to belabor this point, is I envision this commission having being a two-way communication at all times. We're having a speaker series or touring something where we're learning and trying to become sort of the community experts on any given sustainability subject area, but also hearing from members of the public and engaging with neighborhood groups and just keeping that line of communication open. We're learning or we're being a resource for somebody else constantly. That's sort of my thought process. I'll shut up. We're bumping up against 8 o'clock. Thanks for kind of meeting me where I'm at with some of this. Anything to add online to this master list? Jessica, I see you're off mute.
Yeah, I just keep coming up with different ideas. Everything sounds great.
I love it.
I'm just trying to think, and I haven't really finished my thoughts, but I'm just trying to think. I love all these ideas. Is there something we can do, something easy, and maybe this is just will be incorporated, once we start getting into these projects, maybe this will come together, but sort of how do we do our part? Like, how does each Englewood citizen do their part? Like easy information, like you talked about, as far as community outreach and educational programs.
Yeah.
Just what are the basic steps, everyone can take to participate in these different projects, and just outlining and making that information easily accessible, giving residents an opportunity to learn about these different topics and then how to implement them in their own yards and make it easier for them. So I think that's something that will just come with time. I'm just trying to think that through, but that was my only thought. And just having maybe something on the web page eventually, just anyone could access on, how do I take part in these?
I love that. And I think that's something we can certainly incorporate over time.
Yeah.
Is sort of a repository, if you will, of, what's the right term, of any communications or resources that the city's put together that we've developed as a group. I feel like we can have that as a resource on our engaged page, and it wouldn't be that much of an IT lift. Even if it's just hey, resources, boom, it's a drop down or something, or you go to a resources page and it says, hey, how do I start xeriscaping? What are my first steps? 30,000 foot level. Here are some contacts. Here are some links of people you can reach out to. Here's some money that's available for you to do that. I think that's a great idea, Jessica, and something I'd like to see on our website in the next year, 6 months, week. Yes.
Back to like the urban planting, it might be really cool if we could somehow partner with like the Colorado Master Gardeners, like host a course or something.
Yes. So I love the idea, and I would like to, do you have a contact there by chance, or you just know that they exist?
I know that they exist.
Okay.
I've purchased from them before. They do, and they host classes like all the time.
I'd like to attend one.
Yeah.
All of us for that matter. So I don't want to call it a missed opportunity because y'all didn't know about it. And I found out about, Mel and I talked about it. We found out about it late. Opportunities to partner with nonprofits in Englewood is something that's of interest to me. And there was an opportunity in June, which is when we went and toured, so we didn't have the chance to talk about it. But Cafe 180, if you're familiar in downtown Englewood, they did a summer, what do they call it, Mel? It wasn't a sustainability, it was a summer.
It was like a summer youth program where they covered sustainability. And actually, to go off of that, I got off the phone with someone from Cafe 180 yesterday.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I had reached out to them because Logan had shown interest. And so I reached out just to say, you know, is there anything there that we can even bring to the commission? They were super excited because they said they have some sustainability initiatives and they offered to come speak to you all at the next meeting, kind of about them, about their sustainability initiatives and ways to collaborate. I said I would relay the message and ask you all if that's something you are interested in. If so, I can set that up for next month.
also I don't forget, this is how I keep that, so 2022. So I just had the picture pulled up. What they did in June and July, and this is relevant, Kara, I promise, is they did a Cafe 180 summer program where you learn about gardening, food, sustainability, and more. And it was for kids ages 5 to 18 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I thought, why are we not collaborating? Why are we not a part of this? Like, this is a prime opportunity for us to at least be present and partner with a beloved Englewood nonprofit. So if we could do that in 2023, I think that'd be fantastic. So consider it on your radars. And I'd love to hear from them August, September, if we want to maybe have them be part of our speaker series, if you will.
As a group, do you all want Cafe 180 to be here? Is there any objections to that, or?
What's the current running speaker list that I have running?
Everyone online is that something you all are interested in?
Is there any pushback to that?
Oh, there was a comment that said I love the idea.
Excuse me.
I'm just wondering how the fit would work. Not that I'm against it, I'm just wondering. They're doing their thing and it's good. And again, are we a bystander endorsing them,
Yeah.
cheering them on?
Mm-hmm.
Or are we participating with them? I mean, that's all. Those are my questions.
I'd love to, hold hands and do it
We can
together.
hold hands with them and we do that.
I mean, I don't know how it went this year. I'd love to hear from them and hear if it was a
See what their
massive success. Yeah, if they don't need any assistance, great, we can be cheerleaders. I'll go volunteer.
We can be a voice for them. You know, we can be someone who can put it out there a little bit more to encourage it.
Yes.
I love this picture and I think we ought to have one page in every one of these. There should be one page in here on sustainability and we could talk about programs, reminders, all that in one page. And that I think would help us focus the community. So for example, if there's something with Cafe 180 in a month, maybe it's in here and we can say this is. So we have a lot. Get on the soapbox really quick. Something that I was telling Logan, Englewood's doing a lot of things really right. They're redoing what I call the duck pond down by the flying saucer. They are doing the methane gas, the sewage treatment plant. This is big stuff. This is sustainability. And nobody knows about it, not really. And maybe part of what we need to do is blow the horn. Because I think Englewood needs to be commended for some of the things it's doing that is a well-kept secret. So, I mean, it's easy to criticize the city. It's easy to say they're not perfect, they're not doing enough, et cetera. They're doing some pretty cool stuff. And if we had a page, we could at least acknowledge, say, thank you. Go down by the flying saucer and look, that is really cool. It's water could percolate down through the soil. They ripped up what was a cement pond bottom. And it is in line with what a lot of cities are doing, which is opening up natural waterways so that water, wildlife can all flow naturally. I wish they'd tear it up and go right in front of Big Lots and go all the way down to the park.
That'd be cool.
But it's a step in the right direction. And like I said, nobody really knows about it. There's a story in there. I mean, it's a pretty cool story.
I need to drive by, yeah.
Can I throw out also that in addition to the 180, and 180 is a wonderful nonprofit, what about the for-profits? What kind of sustainability are they doing? And how can we sort of show them? I mean, it's obviously advertising for them.
Sure.
So if you can show them, and that would then encourage them to do more of that type of thing. What are they doing with their used food? What are they doing with wastes? You know, how are they managing through that? And I think those are the kinds of things that are really exciting, like you said, to show that's happening.
Yeah, I think that comes back to if we were able to have a page in the Citizen, one page, we could say, you know, this is what the city's doing. This is what Englewood businesses are doing. That's good for the community. Blow their heads up a little bit, like commend them where it's necessary. Because I don't think we see enough of that.
Well, and
Yes.
just building on that, you know, and going back to the block party, you know, it'd be a really cool opportunity to, you know, for sponsorship, like
Mhm.
for the composting at the block party, like get a local business to sponsor that piece of
Yeah.
it, or, you know, recycling or, you know, what have you. And I mean, it's free branding for them.
Free reign. They should be all over it in theory. I'm done here. I have this running list. It's at 8 o'clock, 8:06. We're a little, thanks for hanging in there with me, guys. I work in public affairs. I'm long-winded. So I'm going to keep this list running. We didn't get a chance to sort of hash out, you know, a next action step for each of these, but we did go through almost all of them, and at least they're on your radars. Moldy is over. I will bring this running list every month. And if you have additions or you heard something in the community or you want to add to, bring it up. Bring it up in your part of the agenda. And I'd like to check some of these off by the end of the year, the next few months. I'd like to say that we had a hand in at least some of these, or we're moving the ball forward. And the last thing that we might want to do, Mel, I don't know if you can pull up the agenda for the night again. I said we wanted, if we need to / have time to talk about the block party in a potential booth. I don't know when we need to make that decision.
I think Tony would prefer sooner rather than later, but I can ask her for an absolute deadline.
Yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah, that's totally fair.
So
And
be
if I
like
could-
last month.
if I could, still real quick, if you listen to, was it last month or was it May, Mel? We approved in our bylaws subcommittees.
Mhm.
Any of these, we can put together a subcommittee and you can run point on it and you can report back to the commission as a group. I think that was a great move. You know, Cara, if you want to take a look into urban planting with Dana or whomever, great. That's just an example. If you and Mike wanted to run that, I don't know, with subcommittees or 2 or 3 people, just so you know that that tool exists to us as a commission. We can do subcommittees and report back in if that's sort of the more efficient route that we want to go. And I'll be quiet. Yes.
Ask, just from a process question. So say we have a booth and we want to give out city packets or do something like that. Or we want to encourage the city to do an e-bike rebate. Like what's our funding? How much money do we have set aside for things like that? Like how do these ideas get actually funded?
So when it comes to like printed material for the booth or anything, I could do that myself for you all. That would just come out of the sustainability, I'm pretty sure, budget, and that wouldn't cost that much at all. And the booth itself would be free. But are you talking about like wanting to do the e-bike program?
Yeah, like any of these ideas, some of them will have
So
costs.
I think it's good to also back up. So the Sustainability Commission is an advisory commission for the city. So the Sustainability Commission can suggest to the city saying, hey, we would like to see you all do an e-bike program.
Okay.
And then if city council approved of it, then it would come from the city budget funds to do that.
And do they set aside in their budget though, stuff that is like a pool that is sustainability focused, or would it just come out?
So
of
I have
general?
my own specific sustainability program funding, and then the Sustainability Commission, you all do have a pool of funding for things kind of like printing materials or kind of like admin related costs to help you guys accomplish goals that you want to see.
It's squishy.
This is something we've talked about this at a number of meetings. It's not totally, it's more clear now than it was January 1st. That's for
And
sure.
I think in 2023, when the household hazardous waste event gets moved out, I think that'll make it a lot more clear.
Yeah, that jumbles up our budget,
Yeah.
if you will.
I had so many meetings with finance department being like, please walk me through this like, item by item.
More on that. Okay, for sake of time, I put my name next to a few of these and Mel's, I got a couple of them. Composting with City, you'll help us kind of follow up there.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
you'll reach out to Evan.
Got it on
Is
the
that right?
list.
Okay, I've got myself and Madeline. I'm gonna, for the neighborhood groups and the open communications there, I'm gonna attend the next meeting and I'm constantly talking to Madeline. Mel, you're gonna inquire about, that's trees. Mike, and I put me a little bit just because I reached out to Meg for the Cherokee Street project.
Sure.
We'll report back there. Own any of these. It's a running list. Doesn't have to be today. Mull it over. Let's revisit in August. Lastly, block party booth. How much do we want to get into that tonight? Do we need to tonight? Can we do it offline? It's 8:15 almost. What do you think?
Yeah, and
Mel?
also I think, maybe there could even just be like a sustainability commission member, worst case, just if the timing is wrong.
Yeah.
At like a city booth, just along with someone with materials too, but I can reach
Okay.
out to Tony tomorrow about that. and
Will you?
see. Yeah,
Okay, Mel will let us know timing, and if we've missed the ball on that, no, we can be at a city booth. I'm happy to be there. If anybody wants to volunteer for that, great. And we can try and bring resources and just be available to the community. If not, let's dive into some details on August 9th about what we want to do with that. Anything else on the agenda for the night?
my only thing I want to say, and I'll double check with Tim Dodd about this, if you all do have projects that you're like, okay, this is what we do want to go forward with, I'm pretty sure the commission as a whole just has to vote that they approve of those projects. So it's not like a few people kind of running off and then the whole group not agreeing.
Yeah.
There just has to be group consensus on whatever projects you all decide to go forward with, just so it's truly the commission going forward with them. That's my only tidbit.
If it's helpful, just for context and some backstory, I think it was March, maybe April. We, as a commission, did a survey or poll to gauge the highest areas of interest.
And I
for the
can send
10
that survey along to you both. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, for the 9 sustainability sort of subtopics, if you will. Mel can share that with you. And if it would help, we can funnel these into any of those 9 and start at the top, period. Just an idea, if it would help categorize and be more efficient that way.
Does that, pardon me, does that become then the sort of impetus to move towards subcommittee designations and things like that, or something?
It can,
Where you
I
could
mean,
kind of look into that.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at whether this is just a ad hoc thing that we're doing, or whether these are sort of long-term goals of the committee that we want to continue to move certain things forward with.
You talking project specifics or 30,000?
Well, whether
process?
a project specific is an ad hoc, or whether it is a, sort of the vanguard of a one of those 9 points or something like that. It's more of an organizational issue.
In my opinion, if I could throw it out, because we're a volunteer group, I think the lowest hanging fruit is where we ought to go.
Makes sense.
I mean, if it's gonna take 3 years of planning, half of us won't be on this group in 3 years. If there's some low hanging fruit that we can maybe get it done this year, I'm all in favor of doing it, because that's my frustration. I want to see something happen. I don't want to keep planning and talking.
Yeah.
No disrespect, but I think those are all great ideas, but we can't have 9 priorities.
No, absolutely not.
So, to me, if one of those emerges as low hanging fruit, I'm saying let's pick it. That's my opinion.
Mull it over. We don't have to make a decision tonight. Having this list written out was a goal of mine this evening. So great. That's a step. Think it over. Bring your thoughts back to August. Well, did we say yes to Cafe 180?
I didn't hear any objections, so I was gonna have them on the list, but if anyone objects, we don't have to have them come speak next month. It's totally up to you all on the direction you wanna go.
And they would talk about their summer sustainability and like.
Yeah, I made sure in the email that anything they would talk about would have to just relate to sustainability.
I think this is the last item for the agenda is August ideas. So
Yeah.
let's talk about this for just a second. We just are fresh off of sort of a field trip. We might want to do some desk time for a month or two just to start getting some planning done and where we want to move. So I don't think we should tour deeper yet. Although Dana might disagree. She might want to go next month. I'm okay to hear from Cafe 180, you know, a 20-minute Q&A session with Cafe 180, see what they're doing, what they're working on, how we can be of assistance. Thoughts? Do we need to have a speaker next month? We don't have to.
Well, I mean, I also think like timing next month is August and summer season's gonna be wrapping up soon. So like timeline, is it appropriate for them to come and talk in August or do we, hold off until, February, March when we can actually like be an impact? I mean, unless if they have something to talk about like applicable for the fall that they're working on, we can hear them out, but I think timing is as well.
Anybody online comments? I think that's a good point, because their summer program wrapped up in July. It wraps up in, what's today, on Thursday. So
I vote doing it in the spring then. That's kind of my 2 cents. I really want to hear them speak, but I think maybe the spring, but that's just me.
Yeah, I agree with that.
spring. I say if Mel comes back to us with some feedback next month, we revisit this list and try sort of, let's choose some priorities in August, right? And then let's really talk about the block party depending on what Mel hears back. If we want to have someone there representing the commission, if we want to try and prep any resources. And then I think we can go with that for August, and you and I can do our monthly meeting and finalize that agenda. Thanks for hanging in with me, guys. I really wanted to get that out and get it on your radars. If there's no more final thoughts, that's our meeting for the night, unless there's any pressing matters for the month of July.
Well, not just for Mel, really, like so I'm definitely interested in starting a subcommittee for urban planting.
Okay.
I guess for like an approval or like to vote on for, next meeting to actually form that committee. Should I just like draft a proposal and then share it with the, you can send it out to the group ahead of time?
I think that can be a group discussion next meeting from my best guess. Next meeting, I think everyone can talk about like top priority projects. And then as a commission, you all can decide if you want to take it on all at once with one project, if you want to do subcommittees, and then you all can kind of converse about how you want to do it. But I don't think anything official needs to be written up. I think it just needs an official vote during it for what subcommittees or what projects people want to take on.
I'd be happy to vote on the subcommittee. I mean, do what you want. I think you don't need to do any homework, but if you want to take this topic and create a charge for what that entails, I'd love to see it.
Okay.
Don't spend too much time on it.
No, I'll bring thoughts to the next meeting and hopefully on it.
And I'd love to draft just an idea, just a document to sort of very, very, very rough draft of this turf replacement program. But this doesn't need to be done, I think, until turn of the year, maybe. Okay, let's talk subcommittees next month as well. And then we can see if we want to have a communication subcommittee, if we want to have like an event, a city event subcommittee, things like that. Let's do that next month in August. Great. Mel, do you want to send like maybe a recap in a few days or something?
Yeah, I'm more than happy to.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, would you mind sending a list of what you have on the whiteboard?
I'm happy to, but it might need to come from Mel, but I'm happy to send that. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna take a picture of the whiteboard. It'll be
Oh,
very
please.
official.
I can write this much more legibly. Thanks, guys, for hanging in. Do I hear a motion to adjourn tonight?
Motion.
Seconded by Rick. Hey, welcome new members. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
I think we've got a head of steam, some good momentum. I'm excited. I really am. So thanks for hanging in there. Let's check some of these off this year. I'm excited about that. What?
Bye,
Nursing
good
is a
night.
dying art, okay?
It is.
Fourth grade.
I'm glad you used it. I'm glad you used cursive.
Oh, that's my part.
Yes, yeah, of course. And thank you,
Okay.
because I definitely
That's
need to
sad.
collect these too, so.
Mike, you can't read that?
Should we hang on to our name?
And then actually, I have these for
Yeah.
you too. It's just like a little gift from the city.
Not a pin.
A pin and some cards to send to your family. Wow.
Thanks,
Let
Mel.
me grab the pens.
Yeah, let's do one thing.
Well, I went to
Kara, do you?
figure out who does the ordering for the plans, like who manages
Yeah,
that?
I mean,
And then
that's
we just take
information.
one person for like, and then, yeah.
It's nice to meet you.
Yeah.
It's not.
Glad to have you on board.
Thank you.
It'll be a good time.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming by tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Drop by anytime.
Right.
So I'd love to see you online. If
Yeah.
there's anything that catches your interest, please join.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Right now, still relay messages.
Good show, Mel, good show.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank
very
you.
good
Thank
to see
you.
you. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what sparked me.
Well,
Yeah.
it's nice to meet you.
Thank you so much. It was great.
Yeah, good enough. Yeah, I think so.
And, you know, I completely agree.
You're an official public
Look at
member.
look at some of these that we can get some kind of quick push out of and get those on
Yeah.
board. And look at the other ones as maybe the kind of things we want to put in.
I love
motion
this.
as well.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Come around a year from the Sustainability Commission being official and say,
See,
we've really gotten into the community, we've heard from the
Yeah,
community. and we-
Right,
we're-
just
get a horse to go to the ride.
And I think obviously.
Hey, good to see you.
Good to meet you.